To tell it.
Okay, I was a single young woman working at NEA, National Education Association. My boss, who was new, decided, he was the business manager, and he decided that the old accounting firm, which had been doing it for 35, 50 years, wasn't doing a good job, so he interviewed accounting firms. I didn't know what was going on. And chose Price Waterhouse. And so one day about 30 young men came to Price Waterhouse. Came to
30?
NEA.
Wow.
It was 20 some or 30. It was a lot of young men. And, you know, this was an old...
I wasn't along that day, I guess.
This office was full of old maids. There must have been 600 old maids in that building, and we were all a-twitter with all these young men that were coming in. And one of the ladies who
They had to go
rode with
through
me,
walls of them all.
Grabbing at your clothes.
one of the ladies who rode to work with me, who was middle-aged, said, "Oh, one of those guys is so cute, he is lickable." Well,
What can I do? What can I say?
Was she talking about that?
Yeah, she was talking about
She
that.
had noticed
And
already for herself.
the interesting thing is that his brother-in-law, Bob Drake, was in charge of the job, and he would send Lee down to the business manager's office for whatever.
What?
Papers,
Paper clips?
records, whatever. He would send him down. It was a conspiracy.
It was a
Well, I
conspiracy.
don't think he had any motive in getting us together. However, that was one of my first jobs. I was just
You
new
were
to the
sent down
auditing
frequently.
team. So, you know, I did what they told me to do.
And Bob had been visiting the office for weeks, interviewing with Dr. Carpenter. And I didn't know who he was, you know. But certainly didn't know he was going to be my future brother-in-law. But you want to tell him about
Yeah, so then what happened?
that first date?
First date. Let's hear about the first date.
Yeah, finally, every time I'd go down there, I'd see this smiling face, you know. And,
Which
and finally,
moms or the friends?
I got there. Maybe I should ask her out on a date. So we went on a date. The first date was we went
Easter.
dancing. I had taken dancing lessons while in the Navy. Of course, I just gotten back from
Wow.
really the Navy. So we went dancing at the name of that place down in
Alexander.
Alexandria on Route 1 somewhere. Seedy place.
Yeah,
Got
it was.
a wonderful table right next to the bathroom. Remember, you could smell
I could smell the
those
bathroom.
things they put in the urinals.
That fragrance that they try and put in the building. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was
And
the.
neither one of us gave a fig about dancing. We just didn't know what else to do. You know?
Well, I thought I was a pretty good dancer. I had
Were you?
won a contest at the
He was better
San
than
Diego
I. I
State
didn't know
University. I'd gone to a dance there.
What kind of dancing?
Well, it was a dance, and
Yeah.
there was a woman there, wife of somebody, and she knew all the dances, and I knew all the dances, all the Rumbas and the Sambas and the tangos, and I could do them all because I'd just taken lessons.
Wow.
And so we each won the Best Dancer award.
On your
At
first
the
date?
dance.
No.
No,
Oh,
this was somebody
okay.
else. This was earlier.
Okay.
This is
The date. Let's go
I
back.
had a certain confidence in my
Yes.
dancing ability,
Yeah.
so I said, well, I'll show off a little,
Yeah.
and we'll go to a dance.
Uh-huh.
That was it. Anyway,
And so did you get to show off for Mom?
I don't think anybody noticed much. And I don't know that we tried any tangos or anything like that,
I think we sat at the table and talked most of the time.
probably.
Did he try to kiss you on your first date?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Right. It was not a problem, was it?
I found it quite willing.
Oh, that's awesome.
What do you think we were
How?
doing half the time?
Well, I know. Now I don't believe you when you say you're sleeping till 4 a.m.
No, we did fall asleep occasionally, but we were sitting in that car until 4 a.m.
And how long till the next date?
A week. We started
Probably
going out
every Saturday after that.
every Saturday night. But what I didn't realize, well, I found out, was that over Sunday night he had a date with somebody else.
Ooh,
Who was that?
I don't know,
I can't remember her name.
a different girl?
some girl. Where'd you meet her? Audit job?
Yeah. One
That's how I met all those.
He picks him up.
that worked over at the place that printed savings bonds for the government. Can't remember her name. She was 21, pretty, shapely.
But not nearly as much as.
But mom won.
She,
But mom won.
she didn't have much to say. Mom had plenty to say.
I was gonna say, did that matter?
It did. It mattered to me because the women I had been associated with never said anything, you know. And I was not much to hold up the conversation, so I was looking for someone who was very friendly, had a lot of friends, and would talk. And
You got it.
Found that one.
Well, then we had the whole office, I mean, the whole darn building, 700 and some employees, rooting for us too. And my boss said, this place is full of old maids, you get married and get out of
Get
here.
out of here. How long did you date?
For over a year.
Year and a half?
We
Year
met
and a
Easter of
half.
Well, a year and a quarter.
1957. We were married in July of 58.
A year and a half? What took you so long? Well, wait a minute. Until you proposed, a year and a half?
I had been married.
Right.
And I'm recently divorced. I was not likely
You were
to
not jumping
rush
in.
into something.
Well, you had to wait till
Find I
it
made
was
a mistake.
final too. This was,
Well,
you didn't tell me for several weeks,
Took a year.
was that it wasn't final until a year had passed.
Ah.
California law.
So it was final in February,
Oh, okay.
and
And how did you propose, Dad? Why don't we?
do you remember
We were at the
the
Mayflower Hotel for some reason. Yeah, I think I asked you there.
I
It was a
don't,
foregone conclusion. It
don't
was
think
just a matter
so.
of when I was going to ask.
I don't think so.
I think so.
That was my birthday. We went to the Mayflower for lunch. I had an avocado. It was wonderful.
For lunch?
Acid
Oh, okay.
avocado.
How does she remember her lunch?
I would
Because avocados were a rarity, and to go to the Mayflower for lunch was really entertaining. It's never happened.
This is the
since.
hotel downtown, the real nice
Yeah,
hotel.
It was the big hotel. I don't know whether it's
It
still
wasn't the
there.
Mayflower, it was the Sheraton. Or
Shoreham?
Shoreham,
Could have been the Shoreham. They're right together.
yeah, it was one of those. But that, no, you didn't.
Okay.
No, it wasn't until one Sunday afternoon when we pulled off and just sat there, because Sunday afternoon, nothing to do.
Like
So we sat there
brooding
talking.
about whether to ask you.
No, I reminded you that I was not getting any younger, and if you weren't serious, I was out of there.
Okay.
And was
the
there-
That's the way
next
it was.
day, he
The
came
next
up with a
day?
date.
Was
The
there a
next
ring? Or did the ring come later?
That came later.
Oh, the ring came later.
Oh,
We
okay.
went to a diamond dealer in D.C. Where did we get his name?
Oh, we found
From
some.
your neighbor? No. What was it? We just read about this
Where'd you read
in
it?
all of our snooping.
One of
Diamond
your
came
things
from
up
something
there
on Connecticut Avenue,
Yeah.
referred to
by a gemologist, some gemologist.
No, but by somebody that knew Dad, a neighbor.
Yeah, maybe the Burnside
That
downstairs.
sounds familiar, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
He was a lawyer. They might know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't remember where we went. I remember
It
what we
was
paid. I
over
remember
on
things
How much
like
did you
that.
pay? How much did you pay?
And we went to
$200.
$200.
$200.
A big, what was it? 1/3 carat.
Is this the same? Is this the same one?
Yeah, of course.
Let's take a look.
This one, it's a third
It's a
carat.
fine ring.
Look
So it's certainly a fine ring.
It's lovely.
So we went over to Connecticut Avenue and went to his office, and he showed us diamonds, and he gave us a good deal. And then I
we
remember
figured
very
those.
well, you said I could not tell anybody in the NEA that we were engaged because he was working there again.
Yeah.
He was back on shift
Uh-huh.
there. And he didn't want to be,
Yeah.
plagued
Still
by
new.
all these women.
Well, I had
So we-
violated the Pricewaterhouse rule
That's
that you
right.
don't fraternize with
But of course,
the client's employees.
Bob knew.
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
nobody's
Yeah,
gonna say
but
anything.
He
Yeah.
probably wasn't there
That's,
that year.
that's there so that you don't,
Get them in trouble.
get into trouble
Right.
with somebody on the client staff and then
Yeah.
they lose the job because
Right.
of it. That wasn't in the offing.
I don't know
Besides,
how
the
this-
business manager was behind us all the way.
Right.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, and
So how long were you engaged?
so it was the 21st of June. You said you cannot tell anybody
That was the
until
28th
the
of
day that my last day
It didn't
there.
take long for it to
And
get.
it was the
was the
20th or
28th.
21st of June.
The 28th. You wrote it down somewhere.
Really?
It was official on the 28th of June.
I've
really?
never read any of that
27.
stuff. Where did you
Oh.
find it? Did you have a diary or something?
I must have written out the story before.
Maybe it was in your wedding album. Anyway.
Oh,
Oh, that
maybe.
could be.
Yeah.
So we went
Well, we
and
got
got the
married on, what,
diamond that
the
day,
18th
and
or
I went
19th
back
of
to work
July.
after lunch. We went back to NEA after lunch, and I was sporting this diamond, and boy, it didn't take long for the whole darn building to know.
And you got married 3 weeks later.
A month,
A month later.
well,
Well, it was
19.
19th, from the
That's when we had
28th of
vacation.
June to the 19th of July. It's only
Yeah.
21 days, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you remember about your wedding day?
Our wedding day,
Yeah.
I remember beforehand looking for a dress and walking into Woody's to the bridal department, and this very haughty woman said, "May I help you?" And I said, "Yes, I'm looking for a wedding dress." And she said, "And when is the wedding?" And I said, "The 19th of July." And this was June,
Yeah.
early June. She said,
Late June.
"One of those. We can't do a thing for you."
One of those, a quickie.
Oh, one of those. He says she was so snooty. And I laughed to myself because she didn't know that his mother's best friend was the mother of the vice president of Woody's.
Later president, yeah.
And we made sure that they knew about it.
Is Woody's like
Buy
a
your dress there.
It was a
That was
very
the premier
nice
department store in
Huh.
Washington DC. Yeah. They
wow?
Yeah,
since
Mrs.
closed like all
Burnside
the
is
others.
the mother of the
Yeah.
vice president, so we made sure the vice president found out. I don't know whatever happened to that woman, but anyway, I went to Jealous, and they couldn't have been more gracious. Picked up that little white dress with the short sleeves and short dress, and it was perfect. Couldn't have been nicer.
And were you nervous the night before?
What's that? What?
Were you nervous? Any cold feet?
No.
You, Dad?
Cold feet?
No,
Cold feet.
I didn't have any cold feet. I
You know,
was
we
being
were too
nervous
old to be
just
nervous.
before the ceremony, but
Yes.
So back
So,
to your wedding
yeah.
ceremony, were there vows?
Yeah, the usual.
Did you write them down anywhere?
Did we write them down?
Yeah.
Nah, it was the canned wedding
No.
ceremony that you hear at every Protestant wedding.
Did your mother plan everything, or did you plan it?
No, we pretty much did it together. We had a very simple reception in the backyard of our house.
she had a wedding fund, didn't she? And she had some money put away, and that was for the wedding.
Oh, I had been paying rent.
You should get the
Well,
pictures and
when
bring
I
them in.
remembered to pay. I was paying rent during the years after I graduated, when I was working. And she put it all in a fund, and she used that fund for the wedding.
Yeah, it was a fairly cheap wedding. The reception was in their
We were very
backyard,
cheap.
and we didn't have a hall to rent or anything like that.
It was only the beginning. We were very cheap.
Well, I stayed cheap for a number of years
A
after
number of
that, I'm
years.
sure, but when I got rich, then I wasn't so cheap anymore.
Where did you go on your honeymoon?
Several places.
Well, we went first drove out to Cacapon State Park, right? We stayed overnight there, and we met some friends of yours.
Yeah, the head of the travel department at NEA and
They
his
just happened
wife
to
were
be there.
eating breakfast there, and we invited them to join us at breakfast. And when they found out it was our wedding breakfast, they were just, "Oh, you want to be alone? We can't eat breakfast with you." And we said, "Oh, sit down," you know. We had a good visit with them.
Yeah.
No. Anyway. Kins.
Who?
I was trying to think of his name. Doesn't
I
matter.
can't think of it. I remember we got their sleeping bag for a camping trip, and
Oh yeah, we borrowed from
they
them.
wouldn't take it back.
They wouldn't let us
Fell
go back.
apart anyways, but
And then we went from there, stopped at home,
stopped it.
say hello to Mom, and went to
Ocean City,
Ocean City,
Yeah.
the beach.
Maryland.
Stayed in a motel for a couple of days, or 3 or 4,
I don't remember.
and then went up to Hackensack and stayed with his best man's family. Ugh, it was awful.
We did?
Yes,
Are you sure?
yes.
We
I
went
was
there
not.
once
I was miserable
once
there.
before.
Oh, we were there.
On our honeymoon?
Yes.
I don't think.
Yeah, I guess we were. And